maybe I'll do, I don't know, just like achievements or maybe I'll just do the game on, maximum difficulty or something. Because I tend to like to do that. I like doing games on like maximum difficulty and showing, different strategies on how to complete it. So that might be what I'll end up doing with that. And so you can look forward to maybe seeing some videos about New Vegas sometime soon once it comes out.
Well, that's pretty good. We're looking at the new DLC for Mass Effect and Dragon Age, which I forget the exact release date. My apologies, but what did you think about those?
Yeah, I don't know the exact release date, but I know the Dragon Age one looks pretty amazing because I guess it's almost like a follow-up of where it was before. Basically, like it has to do with Morrigan because she like ran off at the end, which I guess is a spoiler, but she runs off at the end. I'm not going to say why. That's even more of a spoiler, but and it kind of says like you find out where she went, and if you play the Origins, because basically Dragon Age Origins, it's the origins of like the heroes, right? Yeah. And if you play the Dalish Origin, which is like the Wood Elves, you basically how the story is that you and like one of your clanmates are out hunting or whatever, and eventually you find this mirror that like basically sucks his soul out, and basically this DLC is based around that mirror. So it's kind of interesting because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that place. I remember that mirror. I remember what it did. And like, so it's really nice because they're tying everything together, just like random events that they're just tying in together. And so I guess you're going to be able to learn the fate of what happened to her, and more stuff about the mirror and stuff. So it looks to be a pretty good DLC. I'm not sure if it'll be that comparable to the Awakening or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of the DLC, but it's basically the one that was the huge.
Yeah, it was like an expansion or something, wasn't it, almost?
Yeah, it was almost like an expansion. It was like a whole new area, like a whole new like boss, a whole new story. Like it was a huge.
I'm actually still yet to even play the original Dragon Age. I haven't got around to it. I've been kind of holding off on a lot of these long single-player RPGs simply because I need to be in the right mindset to play them. So I mean, perhaps I'll be moving in the next couple of weeks, and maybe if I have some spare time when I get into my new living arrangement, I'll be able to sit down and play a couple of these games.
You mean once you move into my house? Is that what you're going to say?
Well, I didn't say which move I was going to play.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I see how.
When I get new living arrangements, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a really good game. Like if if you've seen it in GameStop or something or wherever, and it's half price or something, it's definitely a good game to pick up if you like RPGs.
Which I do. I tend to. I mean, like I had spoken with you earlier. I tend to have played through a lot of the famous single-player RPGs, so I might as well play through these ones as well. I actually still have not even touched Mass Effect, which I feel like a huge loser for. Because what I have played of Mass Effect, I really liked it.
Because of it. Mass Effect 1 I loved so much more than Mass Effect 2, just because I like getting a bunch of items and going to a vendor and selling them. It just feels so awesome. In Mass Effect 2, they took that out, which I guess is okay for some people. Some people have pretty short attention spans, and they don't like dealing around with like inventory and shit. But for me, that was like one of the best parts.
We've already touched about the shortening attention span of the average gamer in our previous podcasts.
But yeah, like for me, like there's like I found when I was playing Mass Effect 2, when you kill like you're doing like this like quest line, and like you're killing all these people, you're killing these big mechs, and you're killing like these like huge groups of people, and then you finally get to the big bad boss at the end, and you're like, yeah, you're going down, sucker, and you take him down, and you don't get anything. Like, you don't get an awesome like piece of armor. You don't get an awesome like pistol. You don't get anything. Like you get nothing at all.
Yeah, it's just kind of like.
It's just like, oh, cool.
It's like Space Siege syndrome all over again, almost.
Yeah, like
that game. I I mean, Dungeon Siege, I was a big fan of Dungeon Siege. Played that game for probably like 300 hours, both the first game and the second game and the expansions. And it was just so satisfying to go deep into some dungeon and find some big boss and kill it. Same with like Diablo and stuff like that. Like you just kill the boss and you just want to see the loot fly out. And when you see the pretty color letters, you're just like, oh, that is epic. I have to see what that item does. And it's just exciting. Whereas with Space Siege, they kind of went with like this component, weapon creation kind of thing. And it's just boring to kill a boss and have a bunch of like metallic components fly out. You know, you don't really care about those. I mean, you can play through most of the game without even upgrading stuff, so it's just kind of like a lackluster loot experience.
Yeah, that's how I felt with Mass Effect 2. It's like, oh, cool, I get to upgrade my gun.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 guns in the entire game, so it's like, oh, it's kind of boring. Like after a while, you're like, oh, I've been using this pistol since like before.
Yeah. Games with a little bit of RPG depth tend to be a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
But on that note of Dungeon Siege, Dungeon Siege 3 is actually in production now by, I believe, Obsidian. And there's a couple things that have worried me about Dungeon Siege 3. One of them being that, okay, well, some people hate Obsidian. I've got no grudges. But
I know what they made.
I think they made Alpha Protocol or something like that. And they made a couple other. They're working. Actually, Obsidian is the one working on Fallout New Vegas. Actually, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because it's not Bethesda anymore. It's the other people have the rights for the name.
Yeah, I've just confirmed.
Those are the guys that made the first Fallout.
Oh yeah.
Those are the guys that actually made Fallout, like the lore and everything. Like, those are the guys that made like Fallout 1 and 2 and stuff.
Yeah, I think I remember that now. Just confirming here, Dungeon Siege 3 is made by Obsidian, published by Square Enix. One of the things that bothers me about it is that it's actually on the consoles as well as PC, which, given the track record of most games that are on the consoles and PC, they tend to give more focus to making it work on the console, and then you kind of get a lackluster experience on the PC. The game just doesn't feel like it was designed to be played on the PC.
I think it really depends on how well they can port it.
Yeah, and
both. Like they know what people liked on the other Dungeon Sieges, right?
Yeah.
And it is the company that did make the traditional RPG point and click type of game. So hopefully they'll make it. It's kind of like with Dragon Age Origins too. On console, it's a completely different game than it is on PC. Like on PC, if you play Dragon Age Origins on PC, it's like
it doesn't even really look like the same game.
Like I tried to play it on the hardest difficulty on PC, and it was ridiculous. Like you have to like micromanage like all your heroes and like everything, like aim your like crowd control spells and this and that. But on console, it's like kind of just like go in there and kill.
Yeah, the difficulty is quite amped down from what I've seen. I'm also reading here, actually...
It's understandable.
Yeah, it's obviously you can't micromanage as well on a controller if the controls aren't totally designed for it, so... I'm also reading here, actually, just on a Wikipedia article. Apparently Chris Taylor, he actually will be the advisor of Dungeon Siege 3, so hopefully we will see... Chris Taylor, obviously...
Hopefully we'll see robot chickens and stuff running around, right?
It's Chris Taylor's making the game, obviously. That guy is actually one of the weirdest game developers I've ever seen.
Didn't he make, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff, too?
I don't even remember. He's
Chris Taylor? I can't remember. I'm pretty
he's
sure
one of the weirdest guys ever, and I'll tell you why. Because he actually commands his developers to add the weirdest stuff to the games, like robot chickens and, like, chicken levels and stuff. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of his videos. He actually made development diaries and stuff like that. The guy's just ridiculous. It's actually pretty hilarious to watch some of them. But, like I said, you and I were both big fans of Dungeon Siege, and I really have high hopes for Dungeon Siege 3. It's actually one of the few games I can say I actually really want to come out and be great.
Yeah. Well, see, the only problem I see is that, for me personally, I'm getting kind of tired of these point-and-click RPGs. I mean, I know it's like the way it is, but I mean, you have Diablo 3 coming out, and if you have Dungeon Siege 3, there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 more Diablo clones. We just got Torchlight, recently. It's just like, almost like we were saying about MMOs on the last episode.
Yeah.
It's just the same stuff. It's getting kind of boring, you know?
That is
But,
true, but I mean, Dungeon Siege always kind of had that charm to it, especially the first game. Not so much the second
yeah.
one, but the first game, I mean, I can still go back and play that game, and I don't know. I really hope the game's good. Diablo 3, actually, I don't have my hopes too high for that game for some reason.
I don't even give a shit about that game. It could, like, not exist. Like, they could be like, oh, yeah, we're canceling Diablo
I don't know.
3.
I'm just not. Something's not doing it for me with that game.
Well, probably the thing that's not doing it is the fact that they have weird-ass classes that don't even make any sense. Like,
Well, it's not just that. It's actually that.
Like, it makes sense, but it's like, okay, they don't have any ranger and they don't have any tanks, so it's like, who's tanking and who's the ranger? Is the
Yeah.
barbarian tanking? Is the monk tanking? Why is a monk tanking? He's a monk. I thought he was going to be, like, replacing the assassin for, like, physical melee range weird shit. Like, I don't know, like, it just seems really funny to me, and they're only releasing one more class, and they haven't even done that yet, have they? So
No, there's still only, I think, 4 released at the moment. I'll tell you... I'll tell you what personally bothers me about Diablo 3. It's the fact that the graphic style doesn't really do justice to the original Diablo games. It doesn't really give me the same feeling. And also, I would have liked to see a couple more innovations with the franchise, honestly.
yeah, no, like I was saying, they should have made it more like if they made it like I know I said this like for this Old Republic or whatever, but if they made it more like a Savage type of game, like
Yeah,
it'd be
I agree with that, because
so
the game is already kind of action RPG. I would have liked to see, like
Like,
an
can you imagine if
innovation
you were like a barbarian and you're running around like third person
in randomly generated dungeons.
in randomly generated dungeons with a few of your buddies, swinging this giant axe around, chugging potions or absorbing health orbs or whatever the hell they have.
I also don't like that.
Yeah,
There's a couple dumbed down features about the game that I really don't like. Same as the inventory, they've changed it. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on it because they haven't actually been saying enough for me to keep up on it. But they've made some changes to like the inventory and stuff where items like an axe doesn't take 6 slots and a shield doesn't take 4 slots. They all just are 1 slot, kind of like World of Warcraft bags, which I don't know. It's just like, yeah, the slots don't matter, but at the same time, it's just kind of one of those things you get used to. Like, I mean,
yeah, it was really cool because you'd get like a nice like long 2-handed sword, and it would take like 5 slots, but they're all vertical, and then you'd get like a 2-handed axe, and all that takes like 6 slots,
Yeah.
So
and there's just a few things with the game that are kind of killing interest for me. Undoubtedly, it is a Blizzard game, and no matter how much we talk about it, we're gonna end up seeing it or trying it or something.
Not if I can help it, but
Well, yeah, I don't know. I said the same thing about StarCraft 2, and I ended up liking that game quite a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little bit different with StarCraft 2. You don't even have to play StarCraft 2, the game, to enjoy StarCraft 2 because of all the custom maps.
Yeah,
But
that's
the thing
true.
with Diablo 3, it's like, okay, the storyline, like, what are they going to do? Abuse the hell out of the storyline more? Oh, Diablo has resurrected with some magical alien angel guy that you have to go kill, and I don't know. It just seems like everyone begged for Diablo 3, but I would almost prefer to just to rest in peace.
Well, it's very hard for Blizzard to just let these franchises rest in peace, because actually, other than World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2 is the newest game that Blizzard's made, and it's been years. I mean, since they made the game. World of Warcraft is...
That's because when they made World of Warcraft, they dumped like 90% of their time and resources into it because it was doing so good.
Yeah, and then... So, I mean, there's all these games that they probably would have made sequels to sooner, or at least expansions or something. And I don't know, it just seems like they came out... Like, StarCraft 2 is alright. I've already given it its credit. But it seems like games like Diablo 3 probably should have come out like a couple years ago, even. Like, they're coming out in an age...
Or they should have made it so it's actually something different and not like Diablo 2 vs. Diablo 2 vs. Diablo 3. It's like, okay, over like bird's eye view, click to move.
Honestly, it looks to me like it's just better graphics in different classes. It seems like a lot of the features have actually been dumbed down, so there's less...
Better physics, better physics. new skills. There's probably